So, Taylor just got booed. I don't really know how else to get into it other than just saying, this is it. This is it. This is Reputation Part 2. This is the second iteration of the Reputation era. And it's happening right at the time, as I would presume, Taylor is going to drop Reputation, Taylor's version. And I don't know, there's just something so incredibly poetic about what is going on right now. And I have to say that I feel bad for her as a person that you have to start off. I mean, what a day. I mean, you start off by being booed and then your boyfriend just loses spectacularly. For Taylor as an human being, being in the stadium as people are booing you, that must be really rough, especially with someone with her type of personality when she has written several times, she has stated a bunch of times that she cares a lot about her image. She cares a lot about how people perceive her. You know, she's a mastermind and she's on her tallest tiptoes, shining just for you. You know, she cares a lot about all of these things. One of Taylor's most formative experiences was her winning a Moon Man during 2008 or 2009. I can't exactly remember. It was during the Fearless era and she won for You Belong With Me, Best Music Video. And this is the infamous moment when Kanye West came up on the stage, snatched the freaking microphone out of her hand and said, "I'm sorry, Taylor, I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had the best music video of all time." He gets off the stage, she's standing up there, and everyone is booing. And she's talked about it, I think, in Miss Americana as well, just how devastating that was for her because, and this is completely understandable, especially when you're still a teenager.
It was so echoey in there. At the time, I didn't know they were booing him doing that. I thought that they were booing me. For someone who's built their whole belief system on getting people to clap for you, the whole crowd booing is a pretty formative experience.
You don't really know exactly what is going on. You were just there, excited, and then boom, it turns, someone is humiliating you on stage and people are booing. So the way that she perceived it at the time was that people were booing her. And that is not what was happening. Of course, people were booing Kanye West coming up and being, you know, a total douchebag to her on stage, humiliating her. And people let him know, essentially. And this is something that this moment is so important to the Taylor Swift cinematic universe. It's something that has animated countless songs, but also because the moment between her and Kanye didn't just stop there, because it carried on with its own story with Snakegate. So basically what had happened was Taylor and Kanye had this issue stemming from the fact that he came up and took the microphone out of her hand, and then they seemed to repair, you know, that fracture to their friendship. And then as Taylor is, you know, in her 1989, you know, world domination era, Kanye West drops an album, and in that album he references Taylor in a way that is pretty disrespectful in my opinion, and even more disrespectful is the music video that is just kind of gross. I don't really know exactly why that needed to be done, and I don't like it. And when she spoke up about this and how she was pissed off about this and how, I mean, first of all, she does not like when other people try to take credit for her work, which is what Kanye did in her song, but then also to put like a nude doll of her in the music video is just very weird and completely like it's a second wave of this just humiliation and I can't think of the word right now. What is the word? Yeah, anyways, it's just gross. I can't think of the word right now. But then, because, you know, both Kim and Kanye, I mean, especially Kim, is extremely social media savvy. And also just in terms of pushing stories and manipulating your image and being in the limelight. I mean, I don't know a lot of other people who've done it better than that family. You know, they scheme and work behind the scenes and do a lot of things to push certain narratives, and they know exactly how to work it. They're very competent within this. So basically, because of the nature of Taylor's music and the fact that it's written from her perspective And the fact that at that time it was a lot, it was not very self-reflective, let's say. It was a lot, this person has wronged me, and this person is a bad person, and, you know, I really tried my hardest, I was a good person, and they just screwed me over. And because she was so big, a lot of people have started to maybe have some raised eyebrows and be like, really? Is it really always everyone else's fault? And then this event came along where Kim puts out this edited phone call about this entire situation, and it makes it seem like Taylor is just wanting to be the victim. She's saying, yes, 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 do this, to then turn around and be like, how dare you do this to me, and acting as a surprise, you know. So a lot of people jumped on this and they were like, you are fake and you are manipulative and all of these things. That is a very quick summary of what Snakegate is. Yeah, it's a big part of the Taylor cinematic universe. It just is. And it shaped her forever. It changed her forever. But the thing is, at that time, she was standing up there, she was booing, and it shaped her forever. It changed her forever, understandably so. But this time, it was her on the screen, and it was thousands of people booing her, actually booing her. And I've seen a lot of people covering this, but mostly people who actually like Taylor Swift. I've seen people on the left, I've seen people on the right who cover this entire thing, and typically it's either in a mocking type of way, like, haha, we're so sick of you, so happy that you're finally getting, you know, the pushback that you deserve. Or you see people who go, this is the most awful thing ever, this is, oh, what a scary world we're living in, oh my god, misogyny. So I can see what informs both of those viewpoints. However, I don't really agree, and I just have to say that this is another pivotal point in her life. You can already tell. Like, and this is something that people like the Swiftologists, other people who cover Taylor Swift, who I've heard them speak about, and something I've been thinking about as well, which is the reason why Snakegate came about was also because she was so in people's face at that time. You know, she was so big. She wasn't nearly as big as she is now, but she was very big. Her songs were everywhere. Her presence was big. Her influence was big. She was doing the pap walks. She had her girl squad. She was at the peak of her career at that point. And during that time, when fatigue starts to kick in, you know, people are just starting to feel tired. Taylor Swift is, of course, just like anyone else, not everyone's cup of tea. And she has a personality that isn't necessarily going to jibe with a lot of people. I mean, I personally like it. I like the fact that she's overdramatic. I like the fact that she is a very emotional human being. I feel like that really translates into good art. And yeah, she's chaotic and she gets into situations that I'm like, oh, was that really a good idea? But at the same time, I go, yeah, I mean, the album's gonna be good, you know? And I'm wishing the best for her as a human being. But anyways, she was so overexposed at the time when Snakegate came about and when she was cancelled. And that is why she was able to be cancelled in that particular way, because she was just, she was just overexposed. The overexposed nature of her life back then is nothing to what it is now. Coming off of the Eras tour, I mean, it's a big phenomenon. It's a revamping of the concept of a tour. It is a revamping in the concept of performing your own hits, looking back, and not just waiting until you're like 60 years old and then performing it, like doing it in real time as you are as big as ever. Yeah, what do I want to say about it? I think that we're there again. Fame is a very fickle thing. People can really just build you up and want to crush you within the span of a very short amount of time. And when you are as big as Taylor Swift, unless you completely just take yourself out, you remove yourself from public life for a little bit, you go away, you do your own thing, you stay out of the limelight. Eventually, if you are that big, there will be a time when people just get sick on you when they turn on you like that. And that seems to what have happened. And that's also why I find it like the discourse of people saying this is just deep-rooting misogyny and this is so scary and Donald Trump and like all of this is just evidence of decline of human rights and blah, blah, blah. Like none of that, in my opinion, is what's going on. Taylor Swift is someone who has been pushed into everyone's face, and especially in a place where she naturally doesn't maybe have, like most of her fan base is not the same. The NFL and her fan base doesn't have much overlap to begin with. The fact that they've pushed her into this position where she's so highlighted all the time, every time that she's there, and in some sense like taking the focus off of the game. The thing is, a lot of people who watch football, it seems, just based on what I've been hearing online, seem to perceive her as very fake and inauthentic in the way that she acts when she's in the stadium. And I can understand why people perceive her that way. But the thing is, this is not new. Like, the fact that she's standing up and dancing and being excited and making faces and all of that, that's just her personality. She is a little bit of a, drama kid. And she is over the top and she gets excited and she stands it up and dances, whether she's at the Grammys or she's really anywhere. And whether that is a genuine thing and she does it because that's what she wants to do, or because that is how she wants to be perceived as like careless and carefree and happy and all of these things, I don't really know. Only Taylor can really answer that. But I can understand how, if you have no previous experience with Taylor other than the fact that she was a country star and maybe you saw her a couple of times there, and then now all of a sudden she's in the arena, she's dancing, or she's like banging on the glass and just jumping up and down and all of these things, how you could see that and be like, she's acting, she's putting on a performance and I don't like it, that's inauthentic to me. However, like I said, if you have followed her for just more than 5 minutes, you know that this is just what she is like. And if you want to say I don't like that, that's fair. But to me, it doesn't really, it's hard to understand what is inauthentic with Taylor Swift, because she is very socially sophisticated and she is very good at managing how she's coming across. So it's very difficult to know exactly who she is. Only she really knows that. But I don't really mind her excitedness. I am a little bit similar. I get excited, I jump around and all of these things. So that doesn't really bother me. However, when I don't really know exactly what the typical fan base for NFL is, but I would assume that it's male 20 to male 65. Like, I'm not really sure. I feel like that is just not really Taylor's demographic. So when you have these individuals then having Taylor Swift plastered in their face over and over again, also her relation to the Kansas City Chiefs, which has gotten a lot of hate from the rest of the fandom, not the rest of the fandom, of people who watch football who are not Kansas City Chief fans. They're not very popular with anyone else. People don't really want to see them succeed. And you can see that clearly just based on the happiness from every single other team when the Eagles won. And the Eagles won and they deserved that victory and they did a good job. But I can see even more when you associate her image then directly with the Kansas City Chiefs, how even more than just her personality, then it's also the Kansas City Chiefs, what some people think unfair victories and all of this that is being associated with her. And then you also have this thing going on with Justin Baldoni and the Blake Lively case, where her name has been associated, and the internet is very not divided. They're very one-sided on this issue, and the fact that her name has been associated with this entire debacle has also really not been good, and it really does align her with other people who seem to be very underhanded, sneaky, dishonest liars. So none of that is really good. Another thing that she has done during this time is to become political. She has been political for quite a while, and that is going to put a lot of people off. The way that I personally see it is that Taylor Swift is a great singer-songwriter. She's a great performer. I personally don't really have any interest in her political hot takes. That's just not my cup of tea. She is free to express any kind of political thing that she wants to. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to listen. And that's just my personal take on the whole thing. But by inserting herself into American politics, especially right now when things seems to be at a boiling point, you're going to put a lot of people off. And a lot of people are not going to want to hear what you have to say necessarily. And that's just not unique to her. But because she is such a big star, if not the biggest, people are going to be even less willing to hear what you have to say when you live a life that is so abnormal and cushy in a lot of ways. So because of this involvement with politics, I also feel like she's become kind of like more of a figure, and it isn't even really about her. She's just a symbol of the establishment in a lot of ways. Like, I'm not saying that this is my perception. I'm saying this is just how I perceive others to perceive her when I watch discussions about it online. What I'm trying to say is that it seems to me that she has just kind of become an establishment figure, and people are angry at the establishment, and therefore they are angry at her. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with her, and I also think that that is why these boos shouldn't be taken too seriously, because I genuinely don't feel like it has anything to do with her. It has to do with what she symbolizes in terms of politically and establishment wise, and just some people's dislike of that. So none of that is really good. So all of that culminating in her being booed. And yeah, I don't know. I just think that she just needs to go. I think that it would be probably very good for her to go away a little bit. And that is, of course, only if you want it to go away. If you want everything to calm down. If you don't want everything to calm down, what you could do is just embrace your heel turn. Just go full in on Reputation era and just be the bad guy, Go full WWE. Embrace the villain role. Embrace the snakiness. Embrace the booze, I don't really think that is Taylor's personality, but maybe for a short amount of time she could do it. And I don't know. It's just so crazy that I've already said it, but it's just so crazy that this is happening as she is working on, or maybe it's done. It's hard to know, but that the new Taylor's version is coming out as history is repeating herself, and I just don't really know exactly how she's gonna react to this public type of pushback, this public humiliation. And as a person, I really hope that she can see it for what it is. That I don't think that it's genuine hate. I think people are just exhausted and they're a little bit fed up. And I really don't think that it's that deep. I just think that the overlap with her, fan base and the NFL, she can go and focus on other things, like I think that maybe have a talk with the people who handle the cameras and put people on Jumbotron if you're going to any other games. Just being a lot more low-key, would probably be a way to not experience that again. But yeah, I don't know. It's just such an interesting thing to be happening right now. And creatively, I am excited to see what's going to come of all of this. Because when she's slighted, when she has something to prove, that's really when she steps up and makes her best art, in my opinion. So I just really hope that she can channel all of this energy into something creatively good and not let it destroy her and be consumed by the fact that some people just don't like her. Because in my opinion, it's really just not that deep. And I just wanted to talk about it because I don't know any other Swifties really. And here I am. So yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.